was a very different context to the previous cycles. So I would challenge the idea that we will continue to see something similar in terms of 4-year cycles driven by Bitcoin halvings. So we were in an environment that was close to 0% interest rates, and now with that changing and having a lot more macro pressure and different events, it's going to be different and more difficult for a risk environment to come on. So the question will be, would you expect the same 4-year cycle to fit into the broader financial cycle that we're seeing now with a different macro? Last year has been driven mainly by whatever position the Fed takes. So imagine you have a betting market where you have the hawkish perspective, which is an aggressive control of inflation, you have a neutral, and then you would have a dovish, which is a more conservative approach to control inflation. The last year was driven by that. What was the expectation of the people versus what actually happened that drove prices? So I think that this market, the word would be uncertainty. What's going to happen going forward? There is uncertainty on regulation. Are the political, the government's going to take a more crypto-friendly approach? What's going to happen? The same thing between the United States, China, what will they do against Bitcoin, crypto as a whole? So I think it's a different one, and wouldn't try to map or portray similar 4-year cycles going forward.
Any other thoughts about the technical analysis?
I think it's different from the previous ones, and we see a growth in the interdependency between the traditional finance and crypto finance and the regulations around it. And this makes the cryptocurrency field stronger on the long term. I see for the next 5 to 10 years maybe an interdependency between those fields, and who knows, on the long term, crypto might even replace traditional finance.
So I think there's one conversation that's around the decoupling of crypto, Bitcoin versus fitting there. But I think that overall, there's no better time to invest at right now, because different to previous market cycles, adoption is completely different now.
I just want to add something on adoption. People have been fearing that they missed the trade, they missed the investment in crypto, but that's not the case. It is still really early. If you compare the adoption of crypto compared to the internet, we're in the late 1990s. So there is a lot of room to grow, and there's still lots of time to be interested in this field.
And I've heard that as well. So
if I can add one last thing, I actually agree very much with what you both said about the fact that this cycle could be very different from the previous one, especially if you factor in the fact that crypto in general is so young. Like, we've had very little historical data about this market, and even in much longer data available markets, you may still have unexpected things happening. So in crypto, we can definitely not say with certainty. Like, let's not turn this panel into being a fortune teller or whatever, because this is not the point, obviously. But if even like markets like gold may have some events sometimes that are totally unexpected. Like, for example, when the Spanish brought back much gold from South America between the 15th and 17th century, it created massive inflation related to gold stocks being much more abundant than it was thought possible. Like, if this happens in a market that has 5,000 years of historical data or so, you can definitely think that what will happen in crypto, we are going to see some things that are unexpected today. We've already seen things unexpected last year, and trying to predict this is really risky. I guess that's the core of your business. For an exchange, I think for us it's really more like getting to build the products right now that will build the foundations for mass adoption to take place, because in the end, that's the only event that we are trying to make come forward in the first place. So how to drive this mass adoption? Definitely by building products and pushing forwards projects that help each time, one step at a time, bringing, like, when you first interacted with crypto, probably most of you found it a bit strange, a bit hard to interact with, especially if you're not from the tech sector. Well, our job is really to bring these same products that all of you are using today to people who have absolutely no idea about it. And that's going to be our challenge.
And Claudia, go ahead.